How's it going, YouTube? Let's have a look at another one of these CarPlay stroke Android Auto devices again today. I've got one a little bit different today. We've been doing ones lately that sit on the dashboard, so I thought we'd do one slightly different. This one's a bit of a smart mirror. So we're going to have a look at this one today. There's a couple of different applications for this that makes this a lot more useful versus the one that sits on the dashboard. One specifically for the Volkswagen Transporter, so we'll have a look at that as well later. So what we'll do first is we'll get this thing unboxed, we'll see what you get in the box, we'll go through the specs of it, and then like usual, we'll get out the crappy Fiesta, we'll stick it in the crappy Fiesta, and we'll run through how it works, and then we'll have a quick look at the Transporter as well, because there's an application for the Transporter that makes this very useful. So let's get down on the bench and get this thing opened up. Right, here we have it. What we've got here is a rear view smart mirror by SMARTBOX. This is wireless CarPlay and Android Auto device, which is basically marketed as a smart mirror. We've got built-in dash cam as well. Opening up the box, first thing we see is the unit itself. We'll put that to one side for now. What we'll do is we'll pull out everything one at a time and we'll go through what you get in the box. First thing you notice is we get two types of power supply. We've got one which is the usual 12-volt socket, which makes for a nice easy install. You literally just plug this in and then run the wire around your windscreen and plug it into the device. The second one is a hardwired option, which makes it a bit more of a tidier install and a bit more permanent. We've got here the little piggyback fuses for this type of fuse, so all we have to do is find some of these fuses and then replace them in the fuse box with these ones here, and these are like a little piggyback, so it makes it really easy to wire in. The other option is cut these off and hardwire them in somewhere. You've got a permanent live, an ignition live, and a earth. This one makes a lot tidier permanent install, so it's a nicer install with this one. The next thing in the box is an auxiliary cable. So this goes auxiliary out from the smart mirror down to the auxiliary input on your car radio for your audio. We've got an external GPS module. This can be used for your speed, coordinates and map tracks in detail. This will also be used for the timestamp on your videos. Couple of little mounting rubbers, we'll have a look how they work later. Usual instruction manual, and we've got a rear view camera. This system's a dual camera system. This is the second camera, which is an external rear view one. 1080 HD camera. We've got the red wire here, which can make it automatically go into a reverse mode if you wire this into your reverse lights. So when you put it in reverse, your reverse lights come on, it puts power down this cable, and it'll switch over into a reverse parking camera automatically. We'll have a look at this on the install. That's it for the things in the box. So let's have a look at the main unit. Take this off. As you can see, it's a mirror. Very reflective. On the back we've got a 4K camera. This is for the dash cam features, and as you can see, you can angle this to wherever you need it to be depending on the position your mirror is. On the bottom we've got the ports. We've got the USB-C power, AV in for the camera, micro SD slot for the recording on your camera, and the external GPS input. On the top we've got stereo microphones and the power button. Looking at the back, as I said, we've got these little rubbers. These literally just hook on here round the back, and these wrap round your original mirror. So what this will do is this will wrap round your original mirror and sit in front of it. So the specs of this are, as we've said, we've got a 4K front camera, a rear 1080 HD camera, 11.26 inch 1920 by 440 display, up to 256 capacity SD card. We've also got parking monitoring on this, which has got vibration wake up, recording 20-second time-lapse video. It'll need to be hardwired in to make use of that feature. So I think what we need to do now is we need to get this wired up, get it in the car, because obviously it's a good mirror, but we need to know how bright we can actually see the display through this mirror, especially in the daytime. So let's get it in the car and let's go and have a look. Right, here we are in the crappy Fiesta. This is the perfect type of car for this type of system. We will have a look in the Transporter later because there's an application for that I think will be really useful using this type of system. This sort of age car is perfect for this sort of thing, mainly because we've got Bluetooth and everything for the hands-free and all that sort of stuff, so we can connect the phone via Bluetooth to the stereo system. But as you can see, I've got a little phone holder there, because what I do is when I want navigation and that sort of stuff, I'm putting my phone in there. So these have got none of the smart features that the newer cars have got. These CarPlay devices that we've been looking at on the channel are perfect for these type of vehicles of this sort of age. This is a 2010 Ford Fiesta. There you can see I've installed it there. Currently it's a mirror, just because it's switched off. What it's done is, if I look round the back, is this has literally gone in front of my original mirror, and it's got these little rubber straps that go around the back and strap it on. It's a bit over to one side because we've got the camera on this side. At the bottom we've got this on-off button. At the top we've got these cables, and as you can see, what I've done is I've just tucked them up behind the roof lining. What you normally would do is I'd normally take them down there and wire it all in properly and make it all nice, but obviously this one, after this video, I'll be taking it out because I've got some more systems that I need to do videos on. So what I've done for the purpose of this video is I've just tidied it up along this front bit just so you can see how it looks installed. And then I've taken the cables and I've just dangled them down there. I'm using this standard 12-volt socket type. If I was leaving this in the car, I would tidy all the cables up properly and hardwire it in so it's permanently staying like that. The GPS aerial I've just got dangling down here. That would normally be hidden behind the dashboard somewhere over there. The rear view camera I've just trapped there just under the seat because it's looking out the back. You can't actually see a lot because I've got the transporter parked right behind the Fiesta. And as you can see, looking in the mirror, I can see the transporter there in the mirror. Looking through this mirror as it is now, it literally just looks like a slightly darkened version of my original mirror. If I pull the camera up to this sort of angle, this is my seating position and this is what I see. So I think what we should do now is let's power it up. If I plug this in here, this will get some power on it. There you are, welcome, it's starting up. And as you can see there, it's actually quite bright and it's a decent display and you can see it really well. Obviously you can see it's daytime. It's not bright sunshine, but it is daytime. If I pull my camera up to this position, this is what I can see as I'm looking at it. So it's a decent view. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the camera up nice and close to this, and then we're going to go through some of the settings and how to use this. So first thing we'll do is we'll click on settings and we'll have a quick look through the settings. In here we've got system settings. This has got the various settings for the main system itself, like time zone, speed unit, we've got it in miles per hour. One of the things I did need to change was this driving habit selection apparently. That's the left and right, so all this is we've got left and right drive vehicles. So what that does is if you change this, I've got it right hand drive because I'm in the UK, which means the Apple CarPlay is on the right hand side. If we change that to left, it'll put the Apple CarPlay on the left hand side. If we come back out, we've got video settings, the next one. As you can see, we've got 4K resolution set up. We can reduce that to 2K if we want to save some space on our SD card. Video duration, 120 seconds at the minute. So what it'll do is when it's recording video, it'll loop around and each individual recording will be 2 minutes long. We can change that look, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Coding format, we've got it on H.265 at the minute, which is the highest quality. H.264, we can drop the quality slightly. This will save us some space and it's a bit more compatible for everything. So if your computer's a little bit slow, you can drop that to the 264 format. I'll keep that on the 265. Collision sensitivity, currently it's off. We've got high, medium and low. What it'll do is the time of the collision, it'll lock that video that's currently recording, so you can't accidentally delete it. We've got a mirror button there so we can mirror the camera and the recording of the sound on and off. Brightness, this is the brightness of the screen. We're currently on full. You've got day, night and auto mode. Audio, we don't need to bother about this too much. We've got a volume control there. That's for the internal speaker, which we will not be using anyway. Key sound, this is a little sound when we're pressing things. And it's got a little startup sound as well. Wi-Fi information, this is just for when we're connecting to it. We've got here, you can see the Wi-Fi name there and the Wi-Fi password. Formatting for our SD card, restore to factory settings and an about, which just gives us our version number. Next thing we need to do really is we need to connect our phone. So what I'll do is I've got an iPhone here, we'll connect that to it via Bluetooth. If I go to my Bluetooth settings on the phone, scroll right down to the bottom, we'll wait for it to pop up down here. There it is, QCKJ. If I click on that, then we'll connect to the system itself. Use CarPlay with Smart Screen, yes, we'll use CarPlay, and then it should automatically start up. As you can see there, we've gone straight into CarPlay. So now we've got the CarPlay on the right-hand side, and we've got our cameras on the left-hand side. Everybody knows how to use CarPlay. So if we have a look at the cameras, let's tap on there. This is our front camera, which is on the back of the screen there, look. If I scroll left and right, it'll change between the two cameras. This is the one that's jammed in the passenger seat. As you can see there, it's a nice bright display. If I carry on scrolling, we'll have both cameras there. If I scroll to the right, it'll show us any recordings that we've got for each individual camera there. What I need to do is get a little SD card. I'll do that in a second. If we scroll to this front one again, it's got like a widescreen view there. If we click this button down here, this is like a super widescreen. One thing you will notice at the top, we've got the date and time that's come up. Here it is on the right hand side now. You've got the date and the time that's come up, and it's got our current speed. You can actually leave it like this. So if you wanted it as a normal reverse camera, you can leave it like that and it'll stay in that screen. And then it'll be like an upgraded mirror, showing our current speed and a few other little bits of information like that. Down at the bottom, we've got the lock. So at any time, if you just press that lock button, that'll lock the current video so you don't delete it by accident if it's something you want to save for later. Because what happens is when the memory card's full, it goes back to the beginning and starts overwriting. Any videos that are locked, it will leave those on the memory card and it won't overwrite those ones. Into settings, this is back to the normal settings menu. Record, start and stop. We need to insert an SD card. There's different positions that you can change things on the screen. If you move your finger up and down on the right hand side, it does the brightness. If I move my finger up and down on the left hand side, you can actually move the camera slightly up and down. So you can position it to how you want it to be. Next one along is photo mode. And again, we need to insert SD card. And you've got your microphone recording there, which you can turn on and off. So if I come back out, we go back to the original screen. You can do the same again here. So this is how it is with CarPlay. If we swipe right, you can pick which camera you want to be leaving on all the time. So you can leave it as your rear camera there, like a normal mirror view, and have your CarPlay here on this side. Obviously, if I swipe right again, you've got the map screen and everything else that comes up with your navigation. I'll not do that. Right, there's a few ways we can get the sound out of this. If we go back to home, you'll see there's a FM button. What this does is we've got a few different options here. These are both turned off now because this is now set to Bluetooth pass-through mode. Right, so how I've got it set at the minute is the phone's connected via Bluetooth to the vehicle, and I'm in auxiliary mode. You can do this as well by the cable, the auxiliary cable, so I can plug it into the aux and plug it into the aux socket on this, and that kind of does the same thing. So we've got two auxiliary outputs. One is the Bluetooth one, and the second one is the actual cable itself. So as we are now, as I said, the phone's connected via Bluetooth to the car stereo, and the car stereo is in auxiliary mode for the Bluetooth thing. On the display, we've got both options, speaker and FM, switched off. So in that mode, we're in the auxiliary mode. So now if I go back out, we go back into CarPlay. And from this, if we go into our music, I've got some royalty-free test songs here that I can use. So if I click on one of those, that'll start playing. That's coming out of the vehicle speakers now via Bluetooth, but we can control it from this screen. If I turn the volume up and down, you'll see. So all of the sound from the CarPlay is coming out of the car stereo via Bluetooth, and the control of it is from this smart mirror here, which is the perfect combination, and this is how I would run. So if I stop this, your next option is if you have not got Bluetooth, So if we go back to the settings and press on this FM button once again, we've got two options here. One is the internal speaker. The other one that's interesting, if you've not got the Bluetooth, is the FM transmitter. So what you need to do is on the car stereo system itself. If I click on that, you'll see there I've set it up to 90.50. If I turn the volume up, you can hear static, because what you need is a nice clear station. On the display, what we need to do is switch on the FM and then match this transmitter to 90.50, the same as what this is receiving at. So if I change that, if I turn up the radio a bit, you can hear the static, and as I move across to 90.50, that'll stop because they're synced. There you are. Now you can hear that that's stopped. We're at 90.50, so that's transmitting at the same frequency that this radio is receiving at. So if I go back, we'll go into CarPlay, into music, find my song, press play again. Now you can hear it's coming out of the radio, received via FM. This one actually is quite a good connection, but what you find is if you're driving down the road and you go past a area that's transmitting close to this frequency, you start getting a little bit of static. But this one seems to be okay so far as it is now. But obviously the best way of connecting is via the Bluetooth, and that gives you the best sound output. Obviously our other option, if we go back to home, we can do the speaker one. That's coming out of the internal speaker. So if we go back to the CarPlay, and you can turn the volume up and down by moving your finger up and down on the screen. Personally, I wouldn't use that speaker because it's not the loudest, and when you're driving you won't be able to hear it that well. My preferred setup is the first one that's shown you via Bluetooth, closely followed by the second one, which is the FM transmitter. So there's your ways of how to get the sound out of this thing. Next thing we need to try is, I've got this Google Pixel phone here. We need to try and connect it to Android Auto, make sure that's working fine. So what I'll do is I'll disconnect this from the CarPlay first. If we press this button up in this corner, it looks like a little paper clip or something, disconnect or not. So yes, let's disconnect from CarPlay. So what I need to do now on this is I need to pair this phone via Bluetooth. So on this phone, connected devices, pair new device, wait for it to pop up. There it is. There we are, connected, straight into the Android Auto screen. So if I click continue, so there we are, Android Auto, the same as Apple CarPlay. I've never really used Android Auto, so I'm assuming it's pretty similar, to be honest, to Apple CarPlay. The maps won't update anyway because there's no SIM card in that phone. So if I go up there, we've got the exit button, then that should take us back to the main menu there. And you can see there that little paperclip thing's on there, so you can click that and click to disconnect if you so wish. Right, so there's one more thing I need to show you. If we come back out of there again, we go back into this cameras. As we said, you can flick through all the cameras. I've still not put a memory card in it, but we'll not worry about that. What you can do is you can connect to this from your phone. Right, if you look in the App Store for this application called Roadcam, and with that orange little icon there, download it. What you can do is you can remotely connect to this camera. If I click open, what it'll do is it comes up with your camera there. Because I'm connected already via Bluetooth to this, if I click on that, then this will give me a live reading of this camera here. What it'll also show you, if we go to video, it says memory card not detected, but what it will do is it give you a big list of all your saved videos on this system, so you can view them and download them to your phone like that. So if there's any videos that you're wanting to take off of this, rather than removing the SD card, it's easier, just connect to it via your phone and download them that way. These are a decent little app. You can actually change the camera settings as well using this app. If I click on the little cog in the corner, what you've got here is you've got a mirror of all of the settings that you can change in there, so you can change them remotely via your application there. And you can even format your memory card and do whatever you want from your phone, which makes that a lot easier. So that's about it. There's nothing more I can really show you about this thing. They're all the features, and that's how to use it. And to be honest, it's not a bad little system. Like I said, there's a good use for these in the transporter and those type of vehicles, like vans and things like this. So let's go and have a look and I'll explain what I mean. Here we are in the transporter. If you look through this mirror, you can hardly see anything out the back. This is not too bad because this one has got a rear window, but a lot of vans, obviously, they don't have windows in the rear, so you can't see anything out of there at all. This one, most of it's covered up by the camper stuff, and I've got a tiny little hole there. Having one of those systems up there, and then run the cable all the way down the back, and fit the camera outside the rear of the van, then you can leave this on the rear view display, and it makes it so you've actually got a useful mirror. Or in vans that haven't got a rear window at all, you can have a mirror there then, and using the camera, it would actually be a proper rear view mirror. So I think that's a good use for these type of vehicles, having that in there. Obviously I've got my CarPlay and everything here using this one, but if I didn't have this, and that window was worse than what it is now, to be honest, I've got used to not using it, but I think it would actually be a good idea to have one of those systems in here showing the rear view. This is the second one of those type of smart mirror systems I've seen, and to be honest, they've surprised me because it's brighter than what you think. You expect when you see looking at it and it's this mirror thing in your hand that once it's powered up, you'll struggle actually seeing what's on the screen. But it actually lights up really bright and you can see the screen's perfect. So what I'll do is down in the description below, I'll put links to where you can buy this. And I think I've got a coupon code as well, so I'll put that down there. And then that'll save a few more dollars or pounds for you guys. And you can check these things out for yourself. So like the video if you liked it. Comment below what you think of these type of systems. Comment below what type you'd like to see in the future, whether you want to see some really cheap ones or some really expensive ones, or we'll do some comparisons or something like that. Subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already, and I'll catch you guys again later. Cheers.